If you have an idea that you want to turn into a business and you are driven by that passion, or you have a business that you really want to take to that next level so that you can quit that 9-to-5 or stop making it a side gig and actually grow it into a highly profitable 6 or 7 figure business, then you've got to focus on the mindset that's going to get you to millionaire status. Hey there, my love. Welcome back to my channel and CPTV, the place where aspiring and current entrepreneurs can grow their passions into businesses and their businesses into freedom. Because this is where I share with you my experience growing various businesses and provide you with the processes, the tips, the tools, and the strategies to experience true entrepreneurial freedom. If that sounds good to you, then you're going to want to subscribe and like and share the love of this channel. And I am excited to have you with me. I am CP, or Cheryl Perez, in case this is your first time here. And if you've already been here, then you know how we roll around here, okay? So let's get right into it. Setting yourself up in business can have great returns. I have experienced those amazing returns, but it also takes a lot, and a lot of growth, a lot of effort, and a lot of mindset things that you've got to kind of get together. But if you want the comfort of a regular paycheck or a 9-to-5, then being an entrepreneur probably isn't for you. But if you have an idea that you want to turn into a business and you are driven by that passion, or you have a business that you really want to take to that next level so that you can quit that 9-to-5 or stop making it a side gig and actually grow it into a highly profitable 6 or 7 figure business, then you've got to focus on the mindset that's going to get you to millionaire status. And that's what we are talking about today. The success mindset that it takes to really, truly be an entrepreneur. And mindset is one of those things that not a lot of people have put a lot of effort into, right? You kind of do things, you go out there, you try to make it happen without really focusing on all of that mental stuff that goes on. In today's episode, I am actually going to teach you what it takes over my years of learning and how to get it done as an entrepreneur. And by the end, you'll really know if you're ready to have that mindset in order to start and grow your business. So let's dive right in and get to work. All right, my love, let's dive into developing a mindset for success as an entrepreneur, which, as you just heard, is going to be absolutely critical. So first thing I really want to dive into is we're going to focus on learning what it takes to be an entrepreneur and how to identify whether or not you are ready to kickstart that business. And there's some specific mindsets and specific ideas that you have to have in order to be successful. So one of the first things for that mindset is that you've got to identify your big why. I have talked about the why in a whole nother video. I will link to that as well in Getting Your Mind Right in my Startup Business series, which was an amazing one. And I focused on that why. But if you haven't done that or watched that video or done that exercise, because there's an entire workbook that's associated with that particular video as well that will help you work through your why, I highly recommend you grab it because it will actually help you identify the big why, which is important. Your why is going to be important in how you attract your staff and your team, who you have on board, if it's the right team, your customer that you're attracting. You want to make sure you guys are on the same page. But most importantly, it is going to help you stay focused because being an entrepreneur is not an easy road. It is not a get rich quick scheme. It takes a lot of hard work, effort, self-motivation. It can feel lonely sometimes. And that why is really what you're going to need to rely on and keep in your own face in order to be successful. So you've got to identify your why and ask yourself the questions of, why did you want to start this business? Why did you start your business if you're already kind of underway? And your big why is going to keep you focused. And without it, your focus will definitely dissipate and you won't necessarily make it through the tough times. So the first step in that success mindset is to identify that big why. And you've got to really remind yourself of it. You've got to set clear, concrete goals to keep you on track. And you have to surround yourself with people who motivate you and inspire you and do something that you are passionate about and really good at, because that good piece is what's really going going to drive that confidence, what you know you're good at, but also what you are enjoying doing because you're passionate about it, ultimately also makes it possible for you to stay focused, because there are times in your business that you are going to feel like the shit has hit the fan, you're hitting a brick wall, and you really do have to have that personality trait as an entrepreneur to talk yourself into a good space, turn it around, and stay focused. And so these are some really important factors when it comes to developing that success mindset as an entrepreneur. But, really these can also be applied in life in general, because life in general will throw you some curveballs. I know when I first started my business, it became, within the first year to 18 months, it was so much work. It was so hard. It was so different than anything I had really experienced, especially when I was no longer doing it as a side hustle, but as my full-time gig. And there were days where day to day, every single day, I had to remind myself of my why. So these are really important tips. And the question is, do you have that entrepreneurial mindset? Before you decide to jump ship, pursue this, put the time, money, and effort, blood, sweat, and tears into it, you've got to figure out if you've got the mindset. And, first, just to clarify what a mindset itself actually is, it's just a fixed set of ideas that we all have on certain subjects, right? It determines how we react, and it determines the action that we take. So whether it affects us in a bad way or in a good way, positively or negatively, you can't let different mindset shifts interfere with your success. They are going to happen. It's that voice that's in your head that's sometimes telling you you're not good at it, your ideas suck, you're not making any progress, you're not seeing the results. And you've got to be able to get your mind together, like I said, and pivot and redirect, because those things can really happen regularly when you're an entrepreneur. So you got to change your mindset. And a big part of the way in changing those negative thoughts or those concerns that might come in is looking at your beliefs and asking yourself the questions that you can use to change your mindset. And, it's really important for you to ask yourself the questions. Like for me, for instance, I oftentimes second guess my ideas, because I naturally have this block where I don't necessarily consider myself to be a creative person. In my mind, creative is like a designer or a makeup artist or, a writer or someone who does creative things, an artist. And I've always associated myself with not being that person. And so it's kind of a block that I have. So naturally, when I do things that are creative in my business, like creating products or programs or marketing or copy or content to provide to you guys, I oftentimes have this little voice in my head that says, you're not good at that. That's not going to make any sense. That's not a good idea. That's not very creative. And so I really do have to ask myself, Cheryl, is that true? Obviously, you're creative. You've built several businesses. You love helping people. You've provided so many tools. You've had impact in people's lives. They've told you that. So I have to actually ask myself, is that true? Or is that just a limiting mindset belief? Because all successful people out there, I don't care who they are, they know the importance of having the right mindset. And so it's really, really important that you understand that. So there are some really key things that I would say entrepreneurs that I want to dive into you with right now. These are just some general mindset beliefs, right? These are some general qualities, some general things that entrepreneurs really have mastered in order to be successful, in order to have that success mindset. And I wanted to list them here for you and talk a little bit about them. But the first, obviously, is positive thinking. You have to always see the glass as half full. You have to be able to see the possibilities and the hope, because you deserve that. And it's going to be way more difficult to make it through something new, something that you perceive to be a failure, something that was a mistake, whatever it is, if you aren't consistently staying positive. And that brings me to the second one, which is learning from your failure. There really isn't any failure in business. It's more like, okay, this was successful, and then this was a learning experience. And when I say learn from failure, I don't mean just recognizing that you made a mistake and what you could have done differently. I mean recognizing it and implementing it. The implementation part is oftentimes the hardest part for people. So you recognize all these things are wrong. You recognize that you should be doing something different. You recognize the mistake, but you don't necessarily implement that lesson. And that means not doing it again, or shifting it up, or switching it up, or tweaking it a bit. And so you have to be able to do those things as an entrepreneur. You also have to know when to give up. Right? Know when to give up. If something is clearly not working, like maybe, I've had clients that I've worked with in my courses or as a coach with that just don't want to give up on an idea of a business that they may have started working with, and they just don't realize that it's not a good idea. Like, I've been in that place in different business ideas that I've had in the past, and I had to be able to recognize this isn't it. This isn't what I need to do. I need to pivot and redirect. When I took my insurance agency and had to transition it into offering HR consulting solutions because of the laws were changing and revenue was being affected, I had to know when to give up on that insurance piece and to begin to move forward and add product lines. And so that's a really important skill set and mindset that you have to understand and have as an entrepreneur. You also need to know when to delegate to others. That's a big, big thing for us entrepreneurs. It's a big, big thing for me. We're always kind of the control freaks in the whole scenario, the type A's. And so sometimes we feel like if I don't do it, it's not going to get done right. Or by the time I actually take the time to show someone else to do it, I could have done it myself. And then ultimately we end up in this state of overwhelm and don't have the ability to really get past it. And we end up spending our time doing things that are not going to grow our businesses or not going to be profitable for us. So delegating to others is a key mindset. You have to be comfortable. If you've got to come up with a step-by-step way to make you comfortable in order to be able to do it, then do that and implement it. You also have to love learning. I am in a constant state of learning as an entrepreneur. No one walks into this thing knowing everything up front. You will learn it as you do it. You will learn it as you do research. You will learn it as you meet other people and have best practices. You will learn it as you get a coach. You will constantly be taking courses to learn different aspects of your business so that you can begin to develop that skill set and that level of expertise. In order to be a successful business owner, you cannot be only an expert in the product or the service that you deliver. That makes you a technician and not an entrepreneur. And you'll start to feel like, I could be doing this exact same thing working for someone else. Entrepreneurship takes the administration, the operation, the business ownership is included in whatever that service or product is that you're delivering. So you've got to be good at all of that. And that requires learning. You have to be willing to take risks, and you have to be willing to follow through. And that is key. Implementation mindset is critical to success. Not just learning something, not just figuring out a mistake and learning a lesson, not just learning something new, but implementing what you're provided with. And that means taking risks. You're going to jump into things sometimes not really knowing how it's going to fare out. Then you take a step back, you review your data, you make your tweaks, and you move on. But you've got to follow through. You've got to implement, and you've got to remain flexible in doing it. That all three of those go together, because if there's something that needs to be tweaked, you can't just say, oh my God, that was a failure, I'll never do that again, right? You got to be able to pivot and redirect and switch it up and change. And that's a key success mindset. You also have to set goals for every little thing. Daily goals, I want to get these 4 things done. Weekly goals, I want to hit these numbers this week. Monthly goals, revenue goals, all kinds of goals. You have to set them. And you have to be goal-oriented, meaning come hell or high water, I'm going to get that done. And then you have to keep good company. Your mindset is definitely affected, as you know, by all kinds of outside noise. So we need to make sure that we are eliminating that outside noise and keeping in positive and good company that's going to uplift us and that's going to take our spirits to the next level. And these are all critical. These are what I would say are the 10 critical mindset states that you must be in order to truly have success. So connecting with other entrepreneurs is keeping good company, attending events, revisiting a dilemma, delegating minor tasks. These are all relevant action steps that go along with having a success-based mindset. And the entrepreneur connection is critical. There's tons of groups out there on Facebook. If you want to access them, a really quick CP impact tip is you can go right into Facebook in your search, type entrepreneurs, click on the button that says groups, and it will list all of them for you. And all you got to do is request to join. Those are amazing. It's like little networking groups that you can do in your spare time. And the mindset that are in those groups are equal to your mindset. So I would recommend you absolutely utilize them. So did you hear that, right? Are we on the right track? How many of those areas do you feel you've got what it takes? And I do have a question for you, but before I do that, I want to make sure that I mention the workbook. This is the gold. It is almost 30 pages of a workbook, including the mindset exercises that you are going to want to do in order to make sure that your mind is where it needs to be in order to successfully grow your business. I want you guys to get this. It is totally free. I made it just for you, and you can actually access it in the link down below this video. So make sure you click on it. access this workbook. Of course, you're going to get added to my email list, which is also really cool because my email list, they're my VIPs, they're my family, they're my faves, and they get lots of content, information, tools, resources, and a little bit more insight into who CP is. So you're going to click the link, you're going to get the free workbook, and you're going to have a chance to get on my mailing list, which is kind of a win-win. So I look forward to doing that. But I've got the question, and I want you guys to answer these questions for me honestly and down below. Question number 1. As we think through the qualities of an entrepreneurial mindset, what did you think? Did you think there were any missing? Did you think that they were all pretty much covered? Let me know in the comments down below. Question number 2, did you feel that some or many of those things apply to you? And if so, which ones? Let me know in the comments down below. And question number 3, can you see where you can change or improve in some areas? Can you identify the few qualities that you really need to dig deep and hone in on in order to continue to grow that success mindset? If so, what are they? Let me know down in the questions. So guys, I hope that you are walking away from this video and from this episode with the understanding that half the battle of growing a successful business is keeping your mind together and getting your mind right. I loved talking to you guys today. I look so forward to seeing you on Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. Mwah! Bye, my love.